Hello, this is my Java game project I had been working on, and when I built my game, I had not enough knowledge about clean code or refactored code. So there is some code smell in my code, but it's completely functional. Now I have tried to refactor some of those code smell and make it much clean. So here is the first code smell that I have tried to resolve. So as you can see here in my render method, the method is doing a lot of things. The method is updating the game logic, it is clearing the screen and handle rendering multiple layers of screen. So it is doing everything in just one method, and the problem arises when we try to change something or try to add something to this method. Here there is a dedicated method for clearing the screen and also render game and render hard. Now this code is much more easy to maintain, and it's also very readable. Moving to the second code smell, as you can see, the play screen class itself is a very gigantic class. So it is a code smell of large class maintain, and it is difficult to test anything in this class. The readability of the class is very poor, because there are a lot of things going on in the class. For example, the class is handling the input control, it is managing the game world, it is the loading and switching level, so and it also rendering graphics. So everything is packed into this one class. So this is a code smell of large class. So I have extracted the class into several different class, like this input handler and the world manager, and also the game renderer and audio manager. So now let's talk about the third code smell that I have discovered and tried to resolve. There is the code smell of primitive obsession. As you can see in the Goomba class, which is enemy class of my game, I have used some of the primitive data type, like for example integer here. Also the number is not actually meaningful. At a first glance we can't really tell what this number are telling to us, so it's some kind of magic number. So it is a code smell of primitive obsession. So I have tried to solve this code smell by using placing data with object. So what I have done is I created dedicated folder for config, and then I made some class for all those values that I needed in the Goomba class, that is the frame start point, the x-axis of the frame, and the x-axis of the frame end point. And I have used those object in the in the main class, in the Goomba class, not the primitive value. Moving on to the fourth code smell, I had some code smell of using switch statement. So as you can see in my Rahimul class, which was our main character in the game. So in this class I have used some switch statement to define the state of the main character. So I have tried to solve this by extracting method. So what I did is, as you can see in the right side of the screen, I have extracted the logic of the switch statement in another method. Moving on to the next code smell, I had some code smell that is known as data clump. What I did here is that I am using the same data again and again and passing them into different method. So this is a code smell, and I have tried to solve this by introducing a object. What I did here is I define a separate class, which is the region frame, and then I have make a instance of that class, and then I pass the object instead of the raw data itself. The next code smell that I have tried to solve, known as refused bequest. This happens when a class extends or inherit the properties of another class. For Goomba is actually extending the enemy class, but it's not using everything from the enemy class, because our game has had two kind of enemy. One is this Goomba and other is the turtle. So the turtle is indestructible enemy, it cannot be destroyed, but the Goomba can destroy it. Now I have extracted the enemy class into two several class, destructible enemy and indestructible enemy. So now the Goomba is actually inheriting the destructible enemy, as the Goomba is a destructible enemy. Moving on to the next code smell, I had a code smell of divergent changes in my turtle class. Well, if we want to change something, like if we want to change the behavior of the turtle, the physics behind the turtle, we are forced to change the animation and the update method and relevant places where we shouldn't make any changes. This is a code. Yeah, this is a code smell of divergent change. I have tried to solve this by extracting the class that I have make two for turtle animation and turtle physics. So now when I want to change something in the turtle class, for example, if we want to change the animation, we don't have to worry about the physics. But so what I had in my code is that method called superpower. So this is a method that I have planned to implement and give the enemy character a superpower that will activate in for some moment, but I never used it anywhere. So this is a problem, or this is a code smell of speculative generality when we want to implement when we want to use some feature for the future. I have solved the problem by using the inline method, which is actually just removing the method. Because the next code smell here is the code smell of dead code. What I had done in the past is I had made a class for wall out of brick. So but later I never used this code, the code of wall. Wall code is actually some kind of dead code. So I have tried to solve this problem by using inline class, which is I removed the wall object from here. I totally remove the wall class from here. Last but not least, I had some problem. I had some code smell with duplicate code. For example, here I have used this heat on head method to determine the heat on the enemy's head, but later I have also used two methods. So these methods are kind of the duplicate code that I was using. So now in the refactored version of the code base, I have removed those method by using the inline method, and now the code is much more cleaner and readable, and it can be easily extend.